One of the conversations that we had early on in our marriage in terms of the lifestyle that we live is that even scheduling, because like one of the things that someone said is you wear so many hats and you're always going. How do you balance all of it? God, ministry, business, family, all of those things. And I think one of the things calendar, right. And one of the things we really had to talk about initially was even personal time and family time needs to be calendared and scheduled. And I think oftentimes, at least my family, that was difficult to understand. But one of the things that was really interesting is when we put the Day in the Life video out, I got so many messages from family members and friends, and they're like, you know how you said people just don't understand? They're like, wow, you guys do so much. Like, how do you get all of that accomplished in one day? And it's like, we have to make sacrifices. Right. And even with our family, you want to talk about balance, you want to talk about boundaries and guardrails to be successful, even family time needs to be scheduled.
Absolutely. Everything has to be on the calendar. Everything. And, you know, people say, well, what about spontaneity and all this other stuff? It's like, okay, listen. And not that I'm condoning having an affair, obviously. That's not what we do. But think about this. People who have affairs, they have to schedule that.
They have to coordinate.
They got to coordinate it. There ain't no spontaneity there. You got to coordinate and schedule that. So why do people act like coordination is such a bad thing? It's not. You got to coordinate your family. You got to coordinate personal time. You got to coordinate everything. And if you have it clear, time is the greatest leveling factor. It's the equity that we all have. Every single human being has the same amount of time. We might not have the same amount of money, we got the same amount of time. And I'm telling you, how you manage time, how you treat it, I will never trade my time for money. I will trade money for time.
Any day.
But I will never trade my time for money. Because time is not something I can get more of.
Sure. Right.
So I would rather give you money, if I could be honest. I'd rather give you money than to give you time.
Right.
And some people are the opposite. They'll sit there and, you know, and thumb their nose at paying $29.99 to get their car washed and spend 4 hours doing it.
Right.
Whereas for me, if I spent 4 hours of my time washing a car, I just lost $700.
Sure.
Right.
So when you think about CEOs who have the same exact 24 hours as we do, and you see how successful they are, and people say, well, how did they get there? How did they do that? They have the same time that we do. And it's all about being intentional. And like you said, managing your time appropriately. I'm not going to spend, or I'm not going to save $30 and waste 7 hours washing a car.
Jeff Bezos makes $2,500 a second. And that was the last number, because I think it's like $5,000 a second.
That is so crazy.
You think that if I made $5,000 a second, you think I'm going to sit in line at TSA and let them pat me down for an hour?
Right.
As opposed to having a private jet and be gone?
How much money did you just waste?
When it costs, a private jet costs maybe $2,300 to $2,400 an hour to rent.
Yeah.
So you think I'm going to sit here and let you mess with me for you know what I'm saying? And people don't really understand. I know people say, well, you know, look at all the things you could do with that money. Look at all the things you can do with anything.
Sure.
Right? I mean, it's just all situational. But when you look at and value your time, you begin to see things you do differently. And I'm always looking for ways that I don't have to do it myself, so that it's like Sabbath, right? People think your Sabbath day is time to just not do anything. No, your Sabbath time is supposed to be replaced with God-focused time. It's not I sit around and do absolutely nothing. It's no, this is my time to dedicate to God, right? It's the same thing with money. I'm not going to find a way out of doing this to then sit around and do nothing. Right. It's now I'm going to do my most important work.
Exactly.
Right? So now if this 2 hours a day makes me X amount of dollars, imagine how much it makes me if I could do it 4 hours a day.
Exactly.
Or 6 hours a day, or whatever the case may be.
That's really
so it's
good.
exponential growth.
Right.
And I'm telling you, that's the thing the wealthy people know that poor people just seem to never get clear about. And I have gotten so clear about that point, because it's really about how you spend your time.
Yeah.
And what you do.
It's really a transition of the mindset, because I remember back when I would make my decisions pretty much based on the price, not so much thinking about the time.
Right.
But now it's completely different. Now I think to myself, like, how much is it actually going to cost me to do this versus just paying somebody who enjoys, who loves doing it. So it's definitely a mindset that sometimes takes time, but once you get there, it changes your life completely.
Yeah, I agree. It's a mindset.
When people ask us how we do all the stuff we do, my answer is always because we manage our time.
Yeah.
You have to really, and let me be clear, you really don't manage time. You manage emotion, but you schedule time. And when you handle it properly, it produces results exponentially at that.
So
I want to introduce you to the #1 fastest growing Christian business and ministry event, the Leadership Success Masterclass. This 2-day event is like an MBA in a day. We actually give you over 250 business ideas that will catapult you to the next level. The best strategies of the top organizations, which oddly enough have their roots in biblical principles. And we're going to allow God to give you the wisdom on the how and the what to apply to your specific organization. Whether you are starting out or trying to establish and build, or even if you are established and you're just looking to scale and grow, this masterclass will pay for itself multiple times over. We even have a money back plus guarantee. You have absolutely nothing to lose. Don't waste any more time. Sign up today. I guarantee your success, literally.